While checkmating with a queen or a rook, you had seen that mate can also be achieved on the edge of the board. But when you will be checkmating with two bishops, you will try to see that the king is driven into the corner from where it is easier to declare check and mate. Before we learn the checkmating pattern, the plan, what is the final position, let me tell you that like in theoretical play, in actual tournament, rarely do we reach checkmating pattern, checkmating position with two bishops. Bishop and knight is very frequent, but two bishops it rarely comes on the board. But I have been very lucky to achieve this elementary checkmate. I was playing at Colombo Open in the year 2007, and in one of the round I reached a position where I had two bishops, and then I was able to deliver checkmate from what I had learned. So let us go ahead in learning this elementary checkmate, the fourth in the series. Now here you can see that king is on the edge of the corner, and your king, that is the white king, on g6 at a knight square distance, and then you see the bishop on e6 controlling the escape route, the flight square of the king to g8, while the bishop on e5 delivers the final checkmate. So this position you have to keep in mind. Now here what we will do is like when you are checkmating with queen or with rook, you were cutting off the king through a rank or a file. Since the bishop moves diagonally, what you will do here is to create diagonal walls. So what is the checkmating plan? Well, here both the bishops will be staying close to each other. Say for example, you can start with say like this bishop on c1, you can move it to e3, and then the bishop on f1 to d3. So this way, like they will be moving close side by side. So like for example, bishop to c1 will have a path that is to e3, then to d4, to e5, and then finally to d6. And what about bishop on f1? Well, it will go to d3, e4, d5 and e6. And then in this pattern, you will be able to control a lot of squares. You will be able to build diagonal walls. That is what you are required to do in this. And this wall will get smaller and smaller. And of course, the king will assist you that whatever squares it is not possible to control by both the bishops, it will be controlled by the king. And then finally, you reach the checkmating pattern, that is drive the king to the edge of the board, your own king at a knight square distance, and then finally the check and mate. So let us start the execution. We can start with bishop to d3, and now we see here black king playing an attacking move, king to d4, good move. Yes, so should always play attacking chess, and one thing is never give up. So if you are black in this position, just do not surrender meekly, give in a fight. You never know, it is possible your opponent might not know how to checkmate with two bishops, and you can escape with a draw if you violate 50 rule or like blunders one of the bishop. So here now idea is to protect the bishop on d3 by moving our king to e2. We are not moving to d2 for the simple reason that we want our bishop to come to e3. Now we see king going to e5, and now it's the time to take control of the d4 square with bishop e3. And now you can see the first diagonal wall. So this king cannot cross the barrier which has been created, like both the bishops. He has to stay within that diagonal wall. And slowly you will see that with each successive progress, the wall getting smaller and smaller. Black tries to stay in the center, king d5, and now it's the time to improve our king's position with king f3. Black moves his king back to e5, and now is the time to take control of the d5 square which the king has vacated. So bishop e4 improves our position further. We now see black king moving to d6, and now is the time to take control of e5. And now you can see this diagonal wall as compared to the previous one is much smaller. At that time, both the bishops were on the third rank. Let me just quickly take you to this position. So here is that position. So where both the bishops were on third rank, side by side. And now you can see further that, with this position, the wall has got smaller. Black moves is king to e6. Again, time to improve our king's position. King to f4. He goes to d6. And now since you are not in a position to improve your position of controlling e6 with your bishop, what you do is you move your king to f5. So here like king takes the control of this square. Forces king to e7 or d7. Say in this case he moves to e7. That means now is the time to take control of the d6 square by moving our bishop to e5. Black moves his king to d7 and now the time to move our bishop to d5. That means now you can see with this placement the wall still getting smaller. Black moves his king to e7. That means we can now easily control d7 square by moving our bishop to e6. Black moves his king to d8 and now bishop d6. So finally what has happened? This is like the smallest wall. You can see like king has only two moves, that is two safe square, that is d8 and e8. And slowly our plan will be now to push him to the corner and then deliver checkmate. So in this position, he moves his king to e8 only square. Now we improve our king's position, king to f6, king to d8. Now how to make progress from this position? So here like imagine if this king was not on d8 but on e8, and then if you have got this control of d8 square, then he will be required to go to f8. So what we have to do in this case, without breaking basically this part of the wall, let me just remove other colors. So what we'll do, without breaking this part of the wall, we just make a nice weighting move. We want to get d8 square, which is a dark color. So here we can move our bishop on d6 to h2, just a weighting move anywhere on the diagonal, without breaking the control, without losing the control of this three vital square. So this forces the king to e8. Now the same bishop will again come to c7 and will take control of d8. It means now the king has only one square, that is f8. So what you can now do is take control of e8 by moving bishop to d7. This forces king to g8, only one square. See how the moves are forced for black, no other choice. What you can now do is, well, you would like to take f8, but you see this king is escaping via h7. So first job is to stop him from going to h7. And then you might think, oh, that again the king is escaping back to f8. No, nothing happens like that. In fact, it will be, like very easy made if he goes to f8. I will show you both the variation. Let us first go ahead with the main line is best try, that is king to h8, hoping for a stalemate, trap. And now here, like stalemate will come if you lose your concentration, become careless. And here, like this move, bishop e6 is a stalemate, no flight square for the king. King is not in check. So don't do this. This is, we don't want to lose control of this square. So what we do in this position is when he has gone to h8, the square from which is going to escape is f8, means from g8 to f8. So what we do, instead of playing bishop e6, which is only a stalemate, we move our bishop to d6 and take control of the vital f8 square. This now forces king to g8. That means now you can deliver checkmate in 2, starting with bishop e6. So what you have done, you have now taken control of g8. The bishop on d6 is already controlling f8. That means only one move, that is king to h8, and finally bishop to e5, check and mate. So this is how elementary checkmate with double bishops can be achieved. Theoretically, like it takes at the most 18 moves, same like a rook, but again can be done much more quickly. And before concluding, let me just take you to the move. So when king has gone to g8, just let us go back to this move. And here we had seen king going to h8, but instead if he had gone to f8, well, then mate is very easy. It is just mate in 3. Since you are already controlling e8, nothing to worry, king is not going to escape. You just need to take control of e7, that you can do by moving your bishop to d6. It's a check to the king. King has only one square, king to g8. Now you can continue checking, bishop to e6 check, finally king to h8, and then mate with bishop e5. So this is how checkmate with two bishops can be achieved. Never mind, like that theoretically if such positions do not come in the tournament game, but here like you'll be learning the art of maneuvering your bishop as to how to create diagonal walls. You'll be able to visualize such walls, and this ideas, all this will help you in becoming strong chess player. So again, before we conclude, an advice that do practice this. Try to practice against a computer or your friend and set a benchmark. Once you learn thoroughly that yes, you understood the idea, go through this video again, and then you can set a benchmark that try to do it say in 3 minutes time, then lower it, make it 2 minutes, and then finally even you can try like checkmating in under a minute. All you have to understand is that it's very easy to create diagonal walls. Two bishops, they have great powers. Like we have seen, a bishop placed on a central square, it can command 13 squares on an open chessboard. So with two bishops, you are literally, controlling 26 squares, and with your king added, more squares are in your control. So like it is very easy to drive the king to the edge of the board. That is all you have to do in delivering checkmate with two bishops. So with this, I take your leave for now, and will be back with the final of the elementary checkmate, that is checkmating with bishop and knight, the most difficult. And of course that I'll be like explaining it to you, taking a lot of time so that you understand the idea. Bye for now.